Com. It's time now for Comfort Time Live. Comfort Time Live is a call-in radio show educating you on issues surrounding your home. Don't become a statistic. Listen in and find out how you can protect yourself. Comfort Time Live. Comfort Time Live. And now, here's your host, your personal comfort consultant, tackling all of your home comfort issues. Here he is, Tom Platania.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Thursday edition of Comfort Time Live. I'm Tom Platania, your host, along with some special guests that we're going to introduce here in just a minute. You've heard about them quite frequently every day, every week here on WPSL. But we got a great show for you tonight, but do not forget some of our special co-hosts that are going to be joining us in the weeks to come. We have Steve Larson, who's going to join us all the way from the west coast of Florida, west coast of the United States, a little farther than the west coast of Florida. And he's going to be talking to us about a product that he invented that is actually going to be one of the top 10 inventions coming up in some really impressive magazines. And he was rated on there. We're just waiting to see what place he wins. And it's actually a special bathroom fan that doesn't have a flapper valve on it. It actually has, the fan has special, it almost looks like a squirrel cage fan on the instead of the flapper valve, so it doesn't let any of the heat or air escape when the fan's not running, like a standard bathroom fan does. And it's supposed to dramatically increase the energy savings because all the heat or air is not escaping through the bathroom fan. Everybody says that's why some of the bathrooms are a lot more humid or hot or warm than others. And they say, it's because of the humidity from the toilets and the shower and things of that nature. But it's been found that some of these fans, we'll talk about that in just a second.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So he's going to be joining us. And then we just had a new guest decide to come on, and his name is Solar Man, is going to be joining us.
Who?
August 22nd. Solar Man.
Solar Man.
Solar Man.
Soul Man?
Solar.
Solar.
No, not Soul Man.
Solar.
Soul
I'm
Man.
a solar man. Solar man.
August 22nd, he's going to be joining us. And we got some great stuff. We're going to be talking about solar energy, solar air conditioning, solar heating, you name it. We're going to be talking about it. So don't forget that show on August 22nd. Now, with us this evening, we have our special guest who's been with us before, and you've heard about him every single show we do and every single day. We have John from Elite Electric and Air. Hey, John. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing awesome. And he kind of brought the brains with him tonight. You know, when he gets a little old, you need some young people with us to kind of keep us up and running. And we have his nephew, Mr. Kenny, with us. Hello, Kenny.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing good, buddy. Kenny is 2 weeks into air conditioning and electrical. How you liking it so far?
It's all right. It's hot out there, but it's not too bad.
So besides sticking your finger in a light socket, have you had any experience with electricity before?
Well, my dad's a mechanic, so
okay.
I've had a little bit of experience with alternating current and direct current and
Ooh,
stuff
big
like
words. Look at that. You guys, he probably knows more than half the guys working for you already.
It could be.
He just gave away the acronym for AC.
See, that was our trivia question. Darn. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is we're going to be talking about refrigerants. And don't turn off your dial if you're like, it's a boring topic, because I guarantee you somebody within the sound of my voice has been put in this position where the refrigerant that's in their system, they may have been confronted with someone offering them a different type of refrigerant that's in their air conditioning system, saying that it's compatible. We're going to be talking a lot about that.
Or they didn't tell them, and they just put it in.
They just did it. Huh. Air conditioning companies do stuff like that?
There are some out there.
Really? If it, I gotta say it. If every company out there was like your company, John, and like you, Comfort Time Live wouldn't need to be around.
That's true.
You see that?
That's true.
It is. John's got a good company, and that's why he helps sponsor Comfort Time Live, because he believes in what we're trying to do to educate you as listeners, to find things like what we're talking about tonight, and to give you enough education so that you can at least ask the right questions. And if you don't get the right answer back, you have a better opportunity of not being put to a scam. So now what we're going to be talking about is your air conditioning system. If it's more than, what would you say, 5 years old, most likely,
For
for the refrigerant.
5 years.
Right, 5 years. I mean, the R410A has been around since
Yep.
1995.
Yep.
But I would say 60 to 70% of the folks out there, if their air conditioning's over 5 years, they're going to have what's called R22.
Correct.
Would you think that's a good statement?
That's pretty safe to say. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Even though there were some manufacturers that were producing 410 systems, but they were not as in high demand.
Yeah. I mean, I think Carrier actually started, 1995 was like the big push, or maybe a little bit after that was a big push.
Yep. Carrier as well as Drain, American
Yeah.
Standard.
Because Carrier came out with the Puron, and you hear everybody calling it Puron now.
That's right.
And that's the good branding for them, just like Freon.
That's correct.
People call it Freon, but that was a nomenclature made up. No, it was acronym for the DuPont. DuPont
Right.
was what came up with the word Freon. So, but first off, let's find out what's new with Elite Air and electrical air.
Well, we have several things going on.
Good.
One is, well, we've always done recycling for light bulbs and refrigerants and stuff like that.
Recycling.
So
You recycle a light bulb.
We recycle fluorescent light bulbs
Why?
because they have contaminants in there that would affect the ozone, much like the refrigerants. So,
I didn't know that.
So we've recycled them for years, as well as the refrigerants. But something that we just started, actually just this week, was an in-house recycling program for just our general waste, just water bottles and paper and stuff, just like you do at your house.
Okay.
So we now have it at the office, and so
Very nice. Practicing what you're preaching.
very inexpensive. A couple years ago, when I checked into it, it was very expensive.
Right.
They came way down, and for literally $15 a month, we have this gigantic can that we can throw recyclables in at the office. So that's a new thing.
Wow, very nice. See, now that's something that I guarantee if I talk to 100 air conditioning companies around here, I would guarantee if there was two, I would be shocked.
I agree.
I would be shocked. Most companies, most of their stuff just goes out into the woods or something like that, or to the local scrapyard. But that's good. That's
Right.
another reason why you guys separate yourselves.
Right.
I like that.
Let's see. Coming up on August 5th, there is a National Night Out in Port St. Lucie.
Oh, there you go.
We are going to be there to have fun with the kids. As a matter of fact, I brought some extra tickets for
nice.
maybe we can give some away here today.
I like the sound of that. So National Night Out, that's on August 5th, and we're going to have some trivia questions here throughout the night. And so August 5th, you can actually watch the St. Lucie Mets versus the Clearwater Threshers.
Yep, so that's the Mets against the Phillies, essentially.
That's what that is.
Yep.
That's a good.
So
That's going to be a good showing.
So that's going to be good, and it's all for kids. We're going to have a booth there with the giveaways, more of a back-to-school type program.
Okay,
And,
all right.
have lots of giveaways there for the families.
When does school start around here?
I don't know.
Too
I
soon.
don't know.
Too soon.
Too soon.
It's always too soon. Right? No matter, it could start next year in December. It's too soon.
That's right. That's right.
What grade you in, Kenny?
11th, going into 11th grade.
Going into 11th grade. So my daughter's going into. So what are you, 16?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. You should meet her. No, just teasing.
Is she listening?
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. So
So we got that going, and then the only other thing here recently, we did a little promotional in-house with our guys.
Okay.
I spent the day out with the guys one day, and it was hot. And
You forget about that stuff when you get behind the desk, don't you?
You do. You do. And What I realized is the guys were not drinking enough water. And so I had a trainer come in, and he spoke all on hydration and how much water to drink for our guys.
You brought a trainer in to educate your guys on nutrition.
He did this for his employees?
Yeah. Does Greg do that for you?
You get any job applications? Oh, just kidding. No, actually, we have an excellent fitness program here at the radio station.
I don't even want to ask.
There's 4 acres out there.
Yeah.
It's a good, more than a 600-yard dash all the way around.
Well, I respect that.
So so with that, we ended up getting all the guys water jugs, and
very nice.
We're getting a new ice machine so they can have ice, and
Make sure you
keep
water.
It clean. I got to keep it clean, and then water bottles, and
very nice.
Whatever they need to.
Yeah, because Kenny doesn't get hot up in his attics, right?
Oh no, it's nice and cool.
Yeah, nice and cool. Roll around in that pink stuff like I was talking to you about.
I never thought about that. Air conditioned guys working in attics in Florida.
Oh, we've had people call here, say they've had 4 people come to their house, and each of them. Oh, I don't
not
go
even
in
bother to go up in there.
We don't go in attics.
That's correct. That is correct.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So the R22. So now right now, air conditioners have 2 different types of. Actually, you know what? We're going to take a break. Before we go to the break, we're going to do a quick trivia question here. Trivia question: what was the name of the gentleman who was on our show last week talking about Chinese drywall? First and last name. If you can give me his first and last name, the first person to call at 340-1590. You give us a call, 340-1590. The first person who can tell me who the guest co-host was on our show last week for Chinese drywall, and you'll get 2 free tickets to the August 5th St. Lucie Mets National Night Out.
Ooh.
You're listening to Cover Time Live with Elite Electric and Air. John and Kenny will be right back.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live every Thursday evening at 6:05 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
No one expects disaster to happen to them, but when it does, you can be sure United Water Restoration will be there when you need them the most. They've been helping people put their homes and their lives back together for more than 15 years. With 24/7 service and 45 minutes to your door response time, you can trust United Water Restoration with your mold, water, fire, and smoke damage. Call for a free in-home inspection and estimate at 888-535-4909. United Water Restoration.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
And now back to Comfort Time Live with your personal comfort consultant host, Tom Platania.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 340-1590. You're listening to Cover Time Live with John and Kenny from Elite Electric and Air. And remember, the trivia question was, who was our co-host last week talking about Chinese drywall? First person to call wins some tickets for National Night Out on August 5th. but we have possibly have a winner here. We have Steve on the line. Steve, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So if you know this gentleman's name, that means you had to have listened to the show at least one other time, which is I'm impressed that somebody who's listened to my show twice in a row. So I really appreciate that.
Tells me something about how late I work on Thursday.
Steve, who do you have? First and last name?
Howard Estrom.
What's the last name?
Estrom.
There you go. You got it. Howard Ursom. There you go. Yeah,
okay.
I appreciate that. That's exactly it. Howard Ursom from Chinese Drywall Screening, and he's actually going to be back on the show with us as soon as we find out a little bit more about the lawsuits and stuff and when money starts being paid out.
And, Steve, you've also won a truckload of Chinese drywall.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right. What we're going to do, Steve, is we got your number. We'll call you. But now, are you in Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie, Stuart?
Port St. Lucie.
You're in Port St. Lucie. Okay. What we could do is John, we can find a way for John to give you a call and hook up with you to go ahead and get you the tickets.
Okay.
So this way you don't have to come up here to the studio or.
Okay.
Yeah, you live in Port St. Lucie?
I work in Stuart, live in PFL, so wherever it's good,
okay.
Give me a call.
That'll work out great.
Yeah, John's office is in Port St. Lucie, so I'm sure they can work something out.
All right.
Awesome, Steve. Thanks for playing along.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Okay, so we're talking about the refrigerants. Now, in the industry, we're calling them drop-ins. Now, what a drop-in refrigerant is it's a chemical mixture of other chemicals, I guess you would say. I don't necessarily know if I would call them refrigerants. But because the cost of R22, which was the older refrigerant, or as you know it as Freon, was in air conditioning systems, well, they are phasing it out because of the harmful chlorines that are in it, and they've switched over to a product called R410A. Now, because the cost of R22 has gotten so expensive and is starting to climb and climb and climb, people have come up with products that you can replace for the R22 at a lesser cost than the R22. However, John's going to tell us about some issues. Now, first off, R22 used to be a tenth of the cost of 410A, right?
That's correct.
And now it's vice versa.
Now it's 90%.
Yeah, 90%.
Maybe not 90.
Yeah.
But it is considerably higher.
Yeah, which is...
So about 3 to 4 times higher.
Yeah.
At different times, and it does go up and down. It's a
supply and demand,
almost,
yeah. Supply and demand. I mean, they're cutting it off. That's, what is it, 70% less production or 30% less production or something now?
Yep, over the course of the next couple of years, and to be phased out 2000.
Is it? Well, it used to be 2020, but I've heard that they've.
I think it's 2020 for residential.
Residential.
Commercial, I think that it's still going to go a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. Because
I
thought I heard somebody say that they got moved closer, but the last I heard from reliable sources was before it was 2020 is when, and they did that because 2010 is when they stopped the production of R22, or not production, that it was not allowed to be put in air conditioning systems anymore. R22 correct. Is still produced. They've just reduced the amount of production.
That is correct.
So the 10-year time frame was, well, that's about how long air conditioning systems typically last. So,
except for commercial.
Except for commercial, and that's why they've spread it out a little bit longer.
That's correct.
So as you've heard, nothing's really changed. 2020 for residential is still the cutoff day that R22 can no longer be in your air conditioning system. And
I believe that's correct.
Okay, all right. So tell us, what is it about the, as we're going to use the term drop-in, because that's what we kind of use it in the industry. But what you want to listen for, ladies and gentlemen, ask questions is if you have an older system and you're having problems where somebody tells you that they need to add refrigerant, you're going to want to verify some of the things that John's going to tell us here in just a minute. Go ahead, John. So what products are out there?
Well, first of all, there's a variety of different products that make the refrigerants that are, quote, the drop-ins. So Honeywell makes them, DuPont. There's a couple smaller companies, EcoFreeze. I have one here that's called New 22.
And these are manufacturers making the drop-ins.
They are making the drop-ins.
Okay.
They also make the R22. Okay, some
well,
of them.
That's like the cigarette companies trying to do these electronic cigarettes now.
That's correct. That is correct. So what they're trying to do is, they know that that the R22 is being phased out. So if they can use these other refrigerants that the EPA says is, quote, okay, then they can use them in different systems,
Okay.
in the AC systems and also refrigeration.
Okay.
Because this also applies to stuff like refrigerators and coolers.
And
stuff
anything
like
that has a type of refrigerant in it right now, these things, there's one for this.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So with these, quote, drop-ins, there's consequences to go along with them.
Right.
And so they're implied that they can be changed out immediately,
Right.
or be, hence the term drop-in, be able to just use in lieu of R22.
Right.
But that is not necessarily the case.
Right. And ladies and gentlemen, when they manufacture these air conditioning systems and they test them and design, they are tested using the specific refrigerant so that the refrigerant can change states from a liquid to a gas. We call it boiling off at specific temperatures to reach the maximum efficiency and also give that air conditioning system the capacity. When I mean capacity, I mean whether it's 2 tons, 3 tons, 4 tons, 5 tons. So these systems are designed, and if you look on your air conditioning system outside and maybe even inside at the air handler, it'll actually have on the nameplate, it'll tell you the refrigerant, R22, R410A. John's actually got some pictures of stuff he took on that. So if we change these out, then we have to hope that perhaps that replacement or drop-in, is it going to have the same similarities, chemical composition?
That's correct. And they claim that it has similar, but it's not all exact.
It's not exact.
So there is a percentage difference with each of them, each of the different manufacturers, and each of the different refrigerants that qualify to be able to use as a replacement for the R22.
Right. So it's kind of like if you think about it with oil in your car. I know if you're going to go with like a basic oil and then you decide you want to throw a synthetic oil in there, you can't dump the synthetic oil on top of the regular oil that's in your car, right?
That's correct.
You got to get rid of all of it.
That's correct.
But with the refrigerant, the drop-ins, that's what you're saying. And I've heard this. So and that's why we're doing the topic is these fly-by-night guys are just topping off.
That's correct. I made a phone call when you let me know what we were going to discuss today. I made a phone call to one of the supply houses.
Can he help you with that, or?
Absolutely.
Nowadays, these kids, I sit watching CNBC. I watch it just about every day, and all these new inventions that these people are coming up with, these new websites and products, and it's all these kids, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. And they had one on the other day, and they're like, well, how old are you? He's like, I'm 18. Oh, yeah, and I just sold a product for like $5 million.
Can you make that happen?
Yeah, Kenny, what's up with you? And you're working in attics for 2 weeks. Come on, invent something. Make us rich.
I'm doing my best here. I mean, what I think it is it's the kids from the baby boomer generation. That's what it is.
We're getting old now.
Well, you look at your uncle, hey, you know what direction not to go in if you want to be rich. It's definitely not air conditioning.
That's
yeah,
right.
but it makes people happy. It makes people comfortable, and it feels good to make people feel good.
Okay.
It should.
It should. It does. It does.
And it should feel good to do business with a company that makes you feel good.
It does. So now, what are some of the names of these products? I know I found a couple. You found some more as well.
Well, there's they call it 422D, 407G, MO99, EF22, I think is one.
All kinds of crazy names.
Yep, New 22.
Yeah, see, the New 22, that one's been around for a while, right?
I think so.
I've heard that name for a while. But the problem with these is first off, I guess each of the manufacturers, not the air conditioning manufacturers, but the manufacturers of the products, what are they recommending if someone is to use that product?
If you are to use any one of these products, of all the ones that I did look up, you are not to put it on top of or just to top off a system that already has R22. You are to remove the gas that's already in there, clean it. You are to then change a couple different parts within the system, the TXV, the filter dryer, these kind of things, and then you can then put it in according to the manufacturers of the refrigerant.
Yeah, not the air conditioning manufacturers.
Not
We're
the
going to
air
get into that
conditioning
here in just a minute, but not the air, but the manufacturer of the refrigerant. Now, to explain to you the filter dryer that he's talking about, if you go on the outside of your condensing unit, most of the time, depending on the brand of the equipment, it's going to be outside, and it's going to be kind of a cylinder shape product. Typically, what are they, like a grayish? Sometimes they're blue.
Gray, blue.
Or there might be one that's a copper color inside the condenser. And what it basically does is it's like an air filter for the refrigerant. It cleans the refrigerant to make sure that there's no contaminants, and that's called a filter dryer. However, the oils and stuff from the R22 will get in there, and they're not compatible with the new drop-ins.
Correct.
Same thing. Even if you're replacing your air conditioning system, they should replaced. Now, in the expansion valve, what that is that's just a metering device. It's like putting a nozzle on the end of your garden hose. And you squeeze the nozzle, and the more pressure you put on the nozzle, the different the water squirts out. That's what this does. It meters the refrigerant as it goes through. It opens and closes, and it makes it squirt harder or faster or mistier or whatnot. That's without getting too technical. You think that's non-technical enough?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You got that.
So when you take your test, that's what you're going to call it. It does the little non-squirty thing, which changes. That's what the TXV valve is. So non-squirty thing.
Because, God forbid, it's not multiple choice.
Exactly, exactly. So, all right, so now, what's the manufacturer of the air conditioning equipment say?
The manufacturers, well, they print on the equipment what refrigerant is allowed in that piece of equipment.
Right.
So, hence we're talking about the R22. They are all listed for R22. So it's not just the manufacturer that puts that on there. It's also how UL had tested that equipment.
Right.
Okay. So that it will run at a desired efficiency for that equipment.
Right.
As far as the tonnage, as well as the overall efficiency, the SEER rating of it.
Right. So if you have an older system and you have an air conditioning company coming out, now you're never going to have this problem with Elite Electric and Air. You guys don't use drop-ins, right?
No.
Good.
No, I had to do extra research on this for today because I know of them and we've read lots about them, but it's not part of our. We have none of it in our.
Yeah, you shouldn't be using it, but unfortunately, and the reason I know about this is Randy, who comes and co-hosts the show sometime, Randy Dunn. He actually works at a distributor. We won't say the name of the distributor. And he texted me one day, and he's like, this stuff is flying off the shelves. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what stuff? He's like, all this drop-in refrigerants. He's like, because R22, and you said R22 just came down just a little bit.
Just a hair.
And I think it had skyrocketed like 1 month. It like went way up. And that's when he had texted me, is that the R22 now. But these drop-ins are not that much cheaper.
Correct.
Which is funny.
Correct. They're about 50%, no, probably about 75% the cost of the R22. So guys are saving roughly, we'll say $100 a jug.
$100 jug, which correlates. Say they're saving $100 a jug. It's a $30 jugs, so they're saving $3 a pound.
Right.
So $3 a pound to put in this fake refrigerant, I guess you would call drop-in, to possibly save the homeowner, but it's killing the capacity or the SEER rating too.
The SEER rating, and what we don't know is because the systems were not tested with this by UL and or the manufacturers, we don't know how long they're going to last from here on out.
Oh, I can imagine. Because
so
the compressors and all that stuff are all designed with that.
That's correct.
That product.
So let's say we put this in a system that's 5 years old, and it might have a 10-year warranty. We have now just voided the warranty. The compressor goes out a year from now. We go out there to look at it and find out that it's got a different refrigerant in it. The manufacturer is going to say, no, we're not warrantying this equipment.
Especially if they end up, because a lot of these manufacturers have been taking some of their warranty parts back.
That's correct.
And if they take that back, a lot of them are going to be looking at that, and if they find that there is, like, tell me, let's talk about the story. We'll take a break here in a minute, but start off with the story about with the refrigerant, swapping it out. when you reclaim refrigerant, right?
Right.
And what do you do with that? Good refrigerant.
Good refrigerant, you are to reclaim it. And
Now, tell us what reclaiming is.
Reclaiming is the removal of refrigerant, whether it's R22, 410, or any other refrigerant. And we have to, by EPA laws, we have to put it in its own container and keep it from getting mixed with other refrigerants.
Okay. Now, you don't snort that stuff, Kenny, okay? Just no.
No. Nor anything else like that.
I'll take it from you directly.
Yeah, can't you tell I might have tried it once or twice? No. Teasing, I've never done that.
So we are to then reclaim it and then either return it to a recycling manufacturer.
Okay.
Okay. So if we did that and we went to a system that had this other refrigerant in and we don't know it, we remove it, we then turn our jug in and it's now contaminated with this other refrigerant, and now they are charging us double, 2-3 times whatever it is at that time, because it is a commodity, for them to then recycle and clean it, versus the R22 replacement. If it was clean R22 refrigerant, then they could then recycle it, and then we would potentially get a little bit of money for it, or they would just not even charge us. So it's all part of the recycling program.
So they're going to get rid of the garbage that's in the good refrigerant, but then they're going to end up charging you back as opposed to.
That's correct. If it has a contaminant in it.
Contaminant. And that's what they call it. They're not even going to call it a product by name. They're going to call it a contaminant.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah, because that's what it is. It's a contaminant. All right, we're going to do one more. We're going to do another trivia. How many tickets do you have total?
I have 10 total, so we give away 10.
Okay.
We have...
All right.
8.
We do another trivia question before we go here, 340-1590. Trivia question is can you name one of the drop-in refrigerant replacements that we just mentioned? If you can name one of those refrigerants, you'll get one of these tickets to the National Night Out on the 8-5, August 8th, St. Lucie West versus the Thrashers. 340-1590. We'll be right back.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live every Thursday evening at 6:05 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
The Sunshine State can sometimes get wet and windy fast. United Water Restoration Group is here to help. As one of the largest water damage restoration companies covering the state of Florida, their team of highly trained water, fire, and mold remediation experts are here to help, arriving at your house within 45 minutes of your call, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have a leak, mold, fire, or home damage issue, call for a free in-home inspection and estimate. 888-535-4909.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
And now back to Comfort Time Live with Tom Platania.
340-1590 if you'd like to answer our trivia question.
Thought we had a bite there.
We thought we had a bite. We're not throwing the right bait out.
Well, we're not just throwing the bait out, you see. That's what happened. What happens is when we mentioned we're going to have a contest, you got to listen to the trivia question, folks. That's what happens when you dial before you think, right?
340-1590. Give us a call. If you can name one of the refrigerant drop-ins, not the R22 or the 410A, but the drop-ins that we've talked about, there's one real easy one. All the other ones are very hard. But there's a very easy one that's a replacement for R22 that we talked about as a drop-in. 340-1590 is the number to call here, and you get some of these tickets to the National Night Out. Okay, so now we're talking about the guys putting these refrigerators, these drop-ins in. Now, we know that the manufacturer of the air conditioning systems say no. Okay?
Correct.
Don't put it in because it's not going to allow the air conditioning system to function properly. Now, you got all kinds of papers there, so what do you got? You got a letter from somebody.
This letter is general information from Rude and Ream. And
now, they're completely opposite products, right? They're nothing alike, right?
They're similar. Same manufacturer. They both start with R.
They start out with R. There you go. Yeah. And what do they say?
Well, it starts out, the subject is EPA warns against use of refrigerant substitutes. And then it talks about all condensers, heat pumps, and package units. And it says on July 1st, EPA released a warning, July 1st this year, released a warning of the use of refrigerant substitutes that pose fire and explosion risk. Riemann Rude only supports the use of the nameplate refrigerant in the equipment. Use of any other refrigerant not listed on the unit rating label potentially puts consumers and contractors at risk.
There you go. That's directly from one of the air conditioning manufacturers. So here's what you want to ask your air conditioning company. If you have somebody coming out and they tell you that the system is low on refrigerant, first off, a company should tell you that first before they start putting anything in the system. A company should come out, they should diagnose the problem, and then once they diagnose and figure out what's wrong, they should then come to you, tell you what it's going to take to fix it, and then give you the cost to fix it, and then make the repairs if you agree. So if they tell you that the system needs to have refrigerant added to it, the question you need to ask them is what, John?
Are you putting the listed refrigerant in my system?
Yep. The refrigerant that's listed on the nameplate of my air conditioning system is that, and you want to ask them to see the jug, because just like people saying, are you licensed and insured? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, you call John, you won't have that problem.
Man,
he picks up pretty quick.
Picks up quick. I like this kid. You know, I use that when I'm in the dating scene all the time, and they never ask me for proof, so I get away with a lot of stuff. You know. But ask to see the jug that they're using, because they could say, "Oh yeah, I'm putting the same stuff in," and you have no clue. Now, what color is the R22 jug?
R22 is green.
Okay, the whole jug is green. Now, are any of these replacement drop-ins? Well, you don't use them, so do you know what color they would be?
I think they are different colors.
Different colors. They're not green, though.
They are not green.
And I think, according to chemicals, or I forget what the name of the process is, but every one of those actually has to have a different color to distinguish it.
Should have a different color.
Yeah, like R22 or R410A is what?
410A is pink.
Pink. Who came up with pink for 410? I bet you it was a woman.
You're not supposed to see it.
No, not the refrigerant, the jug.
Oh, the jug.
The color of the jug.
Well,
the jug is color-coded.
Now, wait a minute. Now, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why would 410A be pink? Probably a woman invented that.
Well, don't forget.
And John told me to say that, so if you want to call and harass John, no, I'm teasing.
When they go to the house to put the refrigerant in, usually the woman's there, and it's a neutral color where
it makes her feel more comfortable.
She feels comfortable. Yeah.
She feels comfortable. There you go. That's
sounds good,
yeah,
but probably not.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for.
It's probably a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah. It doesn't work for painting the prison walls.
No.
But
so R22 jug, and it says R22 right on the jug too.
That's correct. R22, not EF22 or 422 or some of these others.
I've seen green tanks. Now, is that a clue? Are they color coded?
Yeah,
that is correct.
Okay, so the green one would be one, and the pink
green one would be green.
Yeah, but it would be like R.
Yes, R22. Okay. R22. Yes. And the jug is just cylinder. It's almost like looking at your propane tank.
Right.
That's what they look like.
Mm-hmm. A little lighter in weight.
Yeah, and they have the handles on them They could be different style handles, but it's a little nozzle at the top, and it's
Plastic valve,
green,
yeah.
and it's green. So that's how you know. But you want to ask the question. But when you ask the question, once again, that's why we talk about when you ask a question, you must verify that the answer they're giving you is correct.
Well, why do they have the pink containers then?
Well, that's the new refrigerant.
So that's so you'll know that you're getting the right stuff.
Yes, pink is for systems with what we call 410.
Okay.
Okay, and that's a different refrigerant, and that's the approved refrigerant for systems currently installed as long ago as 1995, but mandatory after 2010.
Ah, okay.
So the pink on your equipment as well should have pink stickers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
A big old pink sticker.
To give that away for the
I wouldn't
newer
have told
stuff.
the do-it-yourselfers that.
Well, the do-it-yourself,
that's the problem.
They shouldn't be able to get this at all anyway.
That's right. They're not supposed to be able to purchase refrigerant at all unless they have an EPA license.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
Now, they're supposed to not be able to.
Right.
Okay.
I know.
Just like contractors aren't supposed to be able to install air conditioning systems unless they have a license.
But then you got your buddy down at the warehouse, and then he knows.
Exactly.
And your brother's friend's cousin's buddy.
Yeah, you go down to that warehouse down in West Palm at 5:05 on a Friday afternoon, and there's truck upon truck upon truck lined up in the back, and
that's right.
Yeah, Guadalupe and JoJo and all those guys are loading up the air conditioners for their weekend getaways.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all the time. It was a joke. Somebody said it to me years ago when I had my company down that way, and I laughed at them. And I drove by there one night just to see, and I sat out in the parking lot, and I watched. And the manufacturer, not the manufacturer, the distributor at that warehouse swore up and down that they didn't do that.
Really?
Swore up and down.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Thank goodness for things like YouTube these days.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Oh, it's amazing with these camera phones and everything that you see nowadays. And all right, so what you want to do is you want to make sure, and do not let him put the other drop-ins in, because one, you know, it's what we said was, let's go out on a limb and say $10 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of the air conditioning systems, what would you say? How many pounds would you say an average tonnage? Probably the average tonnage is 3 ton out there, right?
Yeah.
So, and they hold on an average.
1 to 5, 3.
1 to 5. Yeah, that's a good number. I went to go out there, I'm just teasing. I got yelled at one time for that.
Yeah.
So 3 tons, and how many pounds is on in typical 3-ton system?
Typical would be, I'd say, 6 to 8 pounds.
6 to 8 pounds. So
Yep.
if your air conditioning system was almost completely out of refrigerant, now there's always going to be some in there. It's not going to be a complete. And they wanted to put this drop-in in for 8 pounds, even if it was $10 a pound difference, which we already said we know it's not that much different.
Right.
You're looking at $80.
Right. Of cost to the contractor.
Of cost to the contractor. Okay, so that let's say it's $160 to you as the homeowner extra.
Right.
That's worst case possible scenario. How long would it take to recuperate? Because we already know, we have no clue what the loss of capacity is on that system.
That's correct.
I mean, it could drop down a 3 ton to a 1.5 ton.
That's correct. And not knowing what it can do, what it will do, because some of these other refrigerants, the makeup of them actually results in what they're calling propane, and that's why the EPA.
Ooh, talk to us about that.
That's what the EPA is saying. That is no good for it.
Oh, because
so it actually has an explosive value to it.
Oh, that's great! Wow.
So that's one of the reasons why the manufacturers are saying no.
Oh, so now is it the mixture of them with the R22, or just that component itself?
It's that component itself. It actually has the same makeup as propane.
Oh.
So not all of them, but some of them do. So propane obviously is explosive.
Yeah.
So some of these drop-ins, just the way they mix, it can be explosive. So the EPA says, well, it is not. You're not allowed to have that in a residential house,
right,
or even a commercial at this point. So because the equipment hasn't been tested that way,
right,
then
so you could basically turn your electric heater into a gas furnace. Wow.
Yes.
That's not good. So
or a big fireball.
Or a big fireball. Yeah, we definitely don't want that.
But let's be clear, we can't cook our meat with this alleged propane.
No, that's true. That's true. We can't do that. So for the extra money, and I know, ladies and gentlemen, some of you, if you're in a pinch, you got to do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, 100% unequivocally, do not let anybody put that in there. Now, give John a call, because John just told me what he is charging homeowners for the R22, and I was dumbfounded, because I from what I've heard and asked around, people are charging $65, $75, $85 per pound for R22. Okay, and what are you guys charging?
We charge a.
And how did you find this number? I mean, I know the.
I had to call the office and talk to my daughter.
Oh, it was your oh, okay.
Jessica, and she told me what we charge because.
Now, what's your position in the company?
Because I set these prices a long time ago, and I wasn't sure myself.
John is he's so fixed on customer service, he just forgot about the pricing.
Right, and so what we charge for 1 to 3 pounds is $239. And that is for when we first come out. If your system needs some refrigerant, that would be the cost. If we have, or any additional beyond that, is $54 a pound.
Okay.
And
so if somebody needed 1 pound of refrigerant, not counting the diagnostic and stuff like that, just for 1 pound of refrigerant versus what people are charging almost $85 for, you guys are $54. Correct. Yeah. And that's just insane. So I mean, that's a good number, and I tell you, there's a big difference on how you buy it as well. I mean, if you buy it one jug at a time, you're going to get just absolutely raped by the distributors.
That's correct. And well, one of the other things that we know is if you pay your bills with the distributors, they're going to give you a better deal too.
You're supposed to pay your bills with those guys?
You are supposed to pay your bills.
Oh, I didn't know that, because when I was a training carrier rep, I spent 50%, at least 50% of my time going after contractors for their accounts being, and and it's funny, because they would get mad at me when they would call to order something, and if they can't buy it, you get a phone call 5 seconds later from that dealer, mad that we shut his account down and he can't buy anything and he's got a job going in.
Yep.
And that just leads right back to people not pricing their jobs properly, not knowing what they're doing, having a lot of return calls, so that they're paying all this extra money out,
right,
because they didn't install it properly. They use this drop-in garbage, so they're going back on service call after service call, and they're losing so much money because they're paying their guys in the field. Now they don't have enough money to pay the distributors.
Right.
And when I worked for, I forget, it was Carrier. Carrier used to sub out their collections to the Bahamas.
Oh yeah.
So seriously. Oh, and that just agitated them all even that much more. I get phone calls all the time. But no, you're right. You're 100% right on that.
Right. So I mean, we try to get the best prices possible, and we pass it on as much as possible.
Good. Now, code changes. Have you heard of any code changes? I know Bob's been involved in this thing with the city about they're talking about charging a few extra dollars. Were you involved in that at all?
Not recently.
They were talking about charging a few extra dollars on permits, all over for not all the trades, to pay for a new code enforcement officer that would focus 100% on unlicensed contractors.
Most of the municipalities are trying to work on that.
Okay.
I think this is referring to City of Port St. Lucie, I believe.
Yes.
And they are working on that to where they can have a full-time.
Do you know if they get it approved?
I do not know that.
And they were only talking about like $5 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know the answer.
And I believe, correct me, is St. Lucie is fairly inexpensive compared to some of the other areas as well, right?
They're all pretty compatible.
Because I know Martin County is up in the 80s.
Yeah, Port St. Lucie
75, right?
79.
79 now. Okay, so they went up a few bucks. I know Palm Beach. If you're down in Palm Beach, forget about it.
Yeah,
they're
Palm
3 to 4%.
Yeah,
which makes absolutely no sense. It's 3 to 4% of the total job.
Right.
Even though the paperwork's identical. Right?
That is.
So if I sell an air conditioning system for $3,000 and I sell an air conditioning system for $10,000,
that's correct.
The paperwork is identical.
That's right.
But yet you're going to get charged.
And it's they have the minimum, which I believe is right at that $75 mark.
Oh,
okay. So if it's below the
if
75,
3% is below 75, you still
correct.
got to pay the 75 no matter
That's
what.
correct.
Oh, of course.
But there are some municipalities that are in the upwards of 100, 125.
Unreal. So I mean, I don't think St. Lucie, but as long as they're putting it to good use, and and I think that for all the companies, I mean, would you mind paying an extra couple dollars for each permit if it meant that you were going to be able to take unlicensed contractors off the street? Now, obviously, St. Lucie's going to have to verify that this guy, and that's when I talked to Joel Dramis, the chief building inspector, that's what he said. He said his key thing is that he's going to have to make sure that all documentation is there, that he is bringing in twice as much revenue than what's being generated from the additional permit fees to make it worth the while for them to do it. So if he's collecting $25,000 a year in permit fees, he better be bringing in $50,000 worth of unlicensed contractor activity. That was what he had mentioned to me.
That sounds reasonable. The question is, they hide.
Yeah. So hopefully this guy, if that's all he's doing, he's going to get good at it.
He will have his job cut out for him.
He definitely will. And I think the key there is that for every one of those guys that we're taking off the street, hopefully that's better business for you guys, which I would think that $5, even if it was $5.
Well, and it will help the homeowner as well.
Because, those are the guys that are doing what we're talking about tonight.
That's the end result.
Yeah. What we're talking about tonight, I guarantee you, at least what percentage would you say the unlicensed or unethical guys are using these drop-ins?
The phone call that I made at the supply house today was in the upwards of 50%.
Yeah. So over 50% of the guys, and I guarantee you that they're unlicensed, they don't have EPA card, they're doing things that they shouldn't. So, it all kind of boils down to where if we get these guys off the street, it's going to help us all out. So, John, I want to thank you again for being here, buddy. Kenny, good luck to you, pal.
Yeah, I just get a thumbs up. How about a
get a head shake, pal. You get a head shake. All right. Well, you were visiting with us, and I watched Elite Electric and Air. We're talking about drop-in refrigerants, and don't hesitate to give them a call. You're listening to Comfort Time Live, and we'll be back next Thursday at 6:05. I'm Tom Platania, and you have a great weekend.
Comfort Time Live, Thursdays in the 6 p.m. hour. Watch the show all week long at ComfortTimeLive.com. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast. It's 7 o'clock.